Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows from shows ranging from the 90s to today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And it is season 3, episode 23, the finale that we are on.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to finally be in the finale or talk about it?
Yeah, it's been a long road. A lot going on this season.
But has it really?
Well, back
There's
and forth.
been a lot of boring episodes in this one, too.
Yeah.
When you watch it a second time, it's like, ooh, hits you differently.
Mm.
All right. And it's titled True Love, air date May 24th, 2000. And the synopsis is:
Joey must choose between Dawson and Pacey, who's planning a summer getaway by sailing down the coast on his boat. Meanwhile, Grams talks about love and regret with Jen over the departed Henry and encourages her with Jack and Andie tagging along for an all-night drive to Ohio so that Jen can see Henry one last time. Then they
It
take...
really says Ohio in there.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's Cleveland, but it was funny.
Yeah. And then they take Jack back to Boston to see Ethan, who tells him that he has gotten back with his ex-boyfriend. And
So they just literally went to Ohio and Boston
I guess.
all in one road trip.
I guess. I know it doesn't seem
Like
realistic.
and it doesn't seem like they had that much time.
Yeah, and Graham couldn't drive all that time
night, yeah.
on her own.
And nobody else was driving.
Right.
And they would have had to stop and maybe sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't make any sense.
Yeah. And then Mitch and Gail decide to get remarried and have the ceremony at their house with Dawson as the best man and Joey as the maid of honor. And at the end, Dawson encourages Joey to make a move to follow her own heart, and she runs off to join Pacey on his boat, leaving Dawson emotionally beaten and alone once again.
And that's the end of the episode. Well, they said everything that basically happened in the show.
Yeah, and
You're going to have to cut down on this.
I did cut down already.
You're going to have to cut down like half of it because they just said everything that happened.
Yeah.
I think the ending you didn't have to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I just thought you would appreciate that they had emotionally beaten and alone once again.
How about they just say desperate? Call it selfish, desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what he is. Now, How did it start?
They are wedding shopping.
Yeah, see, that's why I tuned out.
Out on the town with the four of them, Mitch, Gail, Joey, and Dawson, and then they go their separate ways, of course, by the pairs. And Joey is talking about the, we call it the bridesmaids dresses.
Maid of honor.
Yeah. No, the bridesmaids dresses.
Who's the bridesmaid? Joey's the maid of honor. There ain't nobody else standing up there.
Yeah, I don't know. She was just talking about the dresses, so.
Oh, because like when they were walking to the guys, I don't know, was it Mitch or something that was like, oh, and here's the bride-to-be and the maid of honor. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, it made sense. To me, at least.
What?
That Joey's the maid of honor.
Gail apparently has no friends.
Yeah. I mean, they had that one friend.
Yeah, but they hadn't seen her in a while.
Yeah.
So she really doesn't know much about their lives. I mean, she didn't know that they were separated and divorced. Yeah.
Yeah, so things are awkward between them, but then I mean, things might be awkward between them at the wedding, but then Joey stops him and says that things don't need to be weird between them.
Yeah, because she was like, and like right now, like this is about your parents, not about you. That's the thing again, Dawson. It's not about you. Your parents are basically her parents.
Yeah, and things don't need to be weird between them if they don't let it. And then Joey goes off to find something blue for Gail.
And what was it that he said? Like you don't have to try. I don't know. But something about the blue. I don't know. He said something.
Oh yeah, he says you don't have to try hard. There's a lot of that going around, like people being blue.
Yeah.
Being sad.
I was just like, really?
Yeah, that wasn't.
You just had to add to it.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
I thought, don't be weird. That's being weird.
And then Pacey's talking to Doug about Joey. And...
Oh my God. Doug was finally being a good brother.
Yeah, giving him advice.
Well, yeah, because he's like, did you tell Joey? And Pacey's like, no. And he was like, well, you need to tell her. And you need to tell her how you feel. Like, it's just, all of a sudden, Doug is just getting really in Pacey's business and is like, you need to tell her. And
yeah, that maybe if he did that, she would ask him to stay.
I don't know about that. Her name's Joey.
Right. And then Jack and Jen are cleaning out their lockers.
Okay.
I'm losing my voice for some reason.
Okay. First of all, love the scene. So realistic. I will tell you that besides the last day of school every year, cleaning out my locker was one of my favorite days.
Yeah.
Because it meant we were turning in all of our books, and it meant that we couldn't go to our locker because we had to clean it out like 2 days, 3 days before, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had no locker. It was pretty nice. We had no books, so that means we had no homework.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I loved the cleaning out the locker day.
Yeah.
And it's weird though for them because they're cleaning out it like after school.
Mm-hmm.
We cleaned it out during school.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had their own class period that they had to go out there and clean their lockers.
Yeah.
So it's just weird that they did it like after school.
Yeah, and then they're the only ones too.
Well, I did see a couple kids behind them down the
I
hall
didn't.
cleaning them, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my gosh! But then the trash can in the hallways.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that clearly.
Yeah.
All these years later, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just looking at everything, throwing it all in the trash. Oh.
Yeah.
Deciding what you're going to keep and take home.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best days, aren't they?
Yeah.
Did you like the locker cleaning?
Yeah.
When we did it or no?
Mm-hmm.
Because it meant, for me, it just meant we were done.
Yeah, me too. And then Jen and Harry are being immature by using Jack as their messenger back and forth. And
but
then
that's because Jen starts it.
Yeah.
She's 2 years older than him, and she's being so obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. And then at first Jack doesn't want to do anything, but then he decides to pass along the messages, but what they really wanted to say.
Why did he decide to do it?
Just to push them in the right direction of saying how they really felt instead of what they were actually saying to each other, so they could just make up or, just get past it, do something instead of being stuck in the limbo of not talking to each other.
No, that's exactly what they were doing. And then Henry wants his
book.
Something.
Yeah, book
some
back.
kind of book back.
Yeah.
And then Jen threw it away.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to start digging.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's so mean.
Mm-hmm. And Henry says that he's sorry and what?
Jen is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I'm sorry we ever met.
Yeah.
And then Henry's like, I'm not. And I'm just like, Jen, all this because he's going to football camp.
Mm-hmm.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Right.
You've known him now for 9 months, and you're going to be this obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 8 Mondays, 8 Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get over yourself, Jen, to throw all that away. It's not like he's cheating on you.
Right. And then, Henry says, does she have anything else to say to him? And she says, nope, and there's nothing. So I guess that finishes that, and they walk away.
Mm-hmm. So when Andie goes to Dawson's house and was like, here, I need you to sign my yearbook or whatever. She is so something. Because I have a page for you.
Yeah.
Opens it right up to Pacey and Dawson. I'm like, what? And then here, I want you to sign right here.
Right.
And then...
Are you sure that was Pacey?
Mm-hmm. He did that on purpose. Or she did that on purpose.
Okay.
Because she wanted him to remember the good times. And then, did you hear what he said though when he gave the yearbook back? He said, I signed the... I
just call it marked page.
No.
The staff page.
Yeah, the staff. It's whatever the old-fashioned name for the staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He signed the staff page.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know Dawson was part of the staff.
Right. And then that's when Andie tells Dawson about Pacey leaving for the summer.
Yeah, and then about that they're having a going away. Yeah. And Dawson's like, I'm not going to that.
Yeah, and because his parents' rehearsal dinners at the same time, too.
Well, and then she was like, well, someone's got to make the first move. And he's like, it ain't going to be me.
And not
it's
tomorrow.
Like, and it's like, of course it's not going to be Dawson. Have you met Dawson?
Mm-hmm.
It'll never be Dawson. Dawson will never make the first move.
Yeah. And that's when Andie says that she's still hurt by this too, and that letting go is something you have to do every day.
But why? First of all, and here's my thing. Her getting mad at prom is so ridiculous because, let's be honest, Pacey would never have broken up with her if she didn't sleep with somebody else.
Right.
This all would have been solved if she didn't sleep with somebody else. Because who knows where Joey and Dawson would be? Probably still separated, not together. And Pacey and Andie would still be together. So the fact that she's being so dramatic, oh, I'm still hurt by this. Pacey was hurt when you slept with somebody else. Let's cut to the facts there, Andie.
Right.
Don't you think that they would still be together if she didn't cheat?
Oh, yeah. Yep, they would.
Yes. Because Pacey was so in love with her, he was not going to break up with her.
Yep.
So she ruined it. So the only person she has to blame is herself. And she's being so obnoxious.
Yeah.
Now, was it Jack that called Jen a drama queen in the lockers? I think he did. It was funny.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I don't know, because it just kind of reminds me of Andie right now being a drama queen. So.
And then Joey's driving when she's pulled over by Doug.
Okay, that was funny. Because, of course, it's Doug.
Yep.
And then he's like, a certain sibling is going away for the summer. And she was like, what? It's like, yeah, Joey, you don't know much, do you? You cut all ties with Pacey.
Looks like it. And then that's when she meets Pacey outside of a store that he was shopping in and tells Pacey that...
As he's eating a candy bar.
Yeah, that's immature for him to leave without saying goodbye to her. And that, him leaving is giving up on her.
What is he supposed to do? Wait around all summer?
I know.
He did not break up with her. Pacey did not break up with Joey. Joey broke up with him. So why is she being so obnoxious? Saying, well, that's giving up. You already gave up on him.
Yeah.
A while ago. So what does it matter now what he does with his life? He should move on and do it. Here's the thing. Henry should go to football camp. Pacey should go to Key West. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it. And again, he's not giving up by taking his trip. He's taking his trip doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
He can't wait around all summer watching the Dawson and Joey story. Because it's such a drag.
It'd be too painful for him to see.
And honestly, if he stays in Cape Side, who's he going to hang out with? Nobody.
Right.
So he just needs to go and live his life. And anyway, she should be looking in the mirror at the person who's stopping this whole thing, which is her. Has she ever really blamed herself?
Well, she did say she didn't want to keep hurting people, but that wasn't really entirely that. And then Pacey says, the wall that she's never painted yet, unfinished. And unfinished is just like that. They are. And this is the ending that they just got. And Joey says, I guess it is. So they're both being kind of stubborn.
But Joey's just being obnoxious at this point.
And then it's the dress rehearsal for the wedding, and Dawson asks advice on his speech to Joey. She says she doesn't have relationship advice
I didn't know Joey is good at speeches.
Right.
Remember her school mural? She couldn't find the words to say anything.
Right.
So, and he's the writer, so wouldn't he have all of the romantic things to say?
Yeah, you think so.
Even though he never says them to Joey?
And then Dawson can tell Joey has other things on her mind, so he just blurts out that if she has somewhere else that she'd rather be, she should just go. Oh,
well, I thought it was funny, though, when he said, you're stuck with me. I don't deserve that. I was like, first of all, the only reason why she's stuck with you is because you made it that way. And secondly, you do deserve that because, again, you started it.
Exactly.
If it was up to Joey, she would be with Pacey right now. So, shut up, doofus.
Right.
But when he said that, I was like, you make no sense. Because you made her feel that way. You guilted her.
Yeah.
By saying, you have to choose. It's me or him.
Yeah.
And in her mind, it was the friendship with Dawson or the relationship with Pacey. And she gave up the relationship with Pacey, even though I don't agree with that. Also, she could try to rebuild the one with the real friendship she has with Dawson. And Dawson is so annoying because he does not want a friendship. He just wants a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not getting it. She doesn't want a relationship. She wants a friendship.
Right.
Which is the only reason why she's sticking around is because you guilted her.
Mm-hmm.
Into like being a bad person, which being with Pacey would not mean she's a bad person. It would just mean that's who she's in love with and wants to be with.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do feel he deserves that.
Yeah, me too. And
because he's making everyone miserable. He deserves it.
Yeah. And that's when Dawson tells her to just go and give Pacey his best. But Joey says she's staying because, she's committed to the wedding. And then Graham is outside with Jen, Andie, Jack, and Pacey for his going away party. Thought there'd be more people there.
He has no friends.
Like, Doug's not even there.
Doug's probably roaming around in the cop car.
Yeah. And then, the kids are all bummed out about their failed relationships. And that's when Graham has a story about the one perfect kiss she had with that guy.
I thought it was funny, though, because Jen was like, oh, I didn't know Gramps was...
in the Korean War thing?
Yeah. And she was like, no, he wasn't. I was talking about somebody else. And it's like, oh, Grams.
Yeah. And just like how she doesn't have any regrets because she did go back and ended up kissing him. And then he unfortunately died in the war shortly after. And then a couple years after that, she married Gramps.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just, says she wonders how many of the kids will be able to say that they don't have regrets about their lives when they're her age.
But, wouldn't it be kind of hard to listen to your grandma talk about some other guy?
Yeah.
That isn't your grandpa?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to imagine your grandparents have this great love and romance, and then you find out Grams actually was maybe in love with somebody else.
Right.
That'd be weird if you're like, Grandma, what the heck? Don't talk about some other man like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's different in my case, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Well, it's hard because, I could picture that. Like, with my grandparents, you've been married for 50-some years, you don't talk about other people.
Right. Well, my grandparents had multiple marriages, so it's a little bit different for me, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I come from the other side where it's like, I want to hear all about how you guys met as in you and Grandpa, not you and some stranger.
Yeah. And then Dawson finds Joey at the dock later that night and says, doesn't want to fight.
Is this where she tells him why she broke it off with Pacey? I don't know, at some point. I'm just going to cut to that.
Yeah,
at some point, she tells Dawson that she broke it off with Pacey because of Dawson. Because she wanted their friendship. And my thing is, I have an issue with this. I'm so confused because I don't understand why she is telling him. Doesn't he already know why? She didn't break up with Pacey because she didn't want to be with him. She broke up with him because Dawson said that night, it's either him or me. You can't have two. You can't have both of us. So she chose her friendship. So how does he not understand that the only reason why they're so moody and blue is because of him?
Because he just doesn't get that, so she has to spell it out for him.
See,
because it's just the fact that they're different in the way of that Dawson thinks that he can get back together with her.
No, but why does he think that Pacey and Joey are not together is my thing. Because she says why she broke up with him, which we all know why. So the fact that she, why is she telling him? He should already know this. Why does Dawson, what does Dawson think that she broke up with him because she doesn't want to be with him? Is that why?
No, because he thinks that she just would rather have Dawson in her life than Pacey as a boyfriend.
Then why is she telling him that? If that's what he is thinking, then he should know that. So why is she telling him?
I don't know. He's just...
Do you know what I mean? I could see if you didn't know why that person broke up with that, you'd be like, okay, why?
Mm-hmm.
But if you already know why, that person shouldn't have to explain it to you.
Yeah, well, I still think that he needed to hear that if she did think that Dawson would have forgave her eventually, that she might have chosen differently. Like, she might have chosen him, Pacey. I think he needed to hear that to know that she doesn't want to get back together with him.
I
She
don't
only
know.
has feelings for Pacey now.
I'm just confused by this.
And then in the car back home with Grams, Jen says she regrets about letting Henry go without telling him how she really feels. And then that's when Grams makes a huge U-turn and turns the car around and says
They're
that
going to Ohio.
they're going to chase after the bus.
So I guess Jack isn't going to football camp.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too. I forgot about it as we were
And
talking.
my other thing is Jack playing football next year?
I don't know. You know more than me because you've seen the show, but
And also, isn't if the whole group are going to be seniors, what's Jack? You told me he was older than Andie and that they weren't twins. So
yeah, it seemed like he was a year ahead.
So why? I don't get it.
I don't know. Like you'd think he would be a senior now, but I don't
And
know.
leaving for college.
Yeah, so that's probably why he might not be going to football camp, but I don't know. I really don't know after this season. I have no idea. You do, I don't, so.
Yeah, I'm just confused. But I guess he's not playing football because he's not at camp.
Right.
Either that or it's only for like the good football kids, like the good football players.
Yeah, or he's just not serious about it and doesn't want to go.
Right.
So.
It's not like his desire.
Yeah, because he was being tackled on last time, so he's just a
That's
target
the
to
name
them.
of the game.
I know, but they were being too rough with him. He had bruised ribs.
So yeah, I guess Jack's not going. That's like what I got out of this episode. I still can't believe though that they're going all the way to Ohio. In one night.
Yep.
I mean, it's been a long day as it is for them, hasn't it?
Yeah. And then the next scene is where Joey walks past the wall that Pacey rented for her, where she reads the words, "Ask me to stay." You want to talk about that, or should I? Because he planned for her to walk past that wall at that time.
Because he called Bess.
For her, Joey, to get milk, so she would walk past the building to go back home with it. And that's when he's like...
No, I'm smiling because do you remember a conversation that we had in the season 1 finale?
About what?
In the season 1 finale, you and I went back and forth. And here where it's all coming out. You and I went back and forth over Dawson making Joey feel obligated to stay home instead of going.
Yeah.
And I said if it would have come from her telling Dawson, ask me to stay, it would have been better instead of Dawson saying it to her to stay. And I said, don't worry, in the future it happens where Pacey is the one that's leaving and says, ask me to stay.
Yeah.
And here it is. Because it's coming from him. Because she even says, like, it's not on me. Like, that's not my choice. This is your choice. And it comes back to season 1 when, you know, when Dawson was like, no, you need to stay. And it's like, no, it doesn't feel right coming from you. Just like it wouldn't feel right if Joey would have told Pacey stay. It would have been like the same thing of Dawson and Joey, and it would have been the same scenario of Jen and Henry. So I'm glad it came from Pacey. Like, this is what I want you to say.
Yeah.
And, you know, where Dawson didn't do that in season 1. So that's where the full circle is coming back to, the ask me to stay.
Right.
You remember the conversation? Yeah, because we kind of debated that. But I did think it was so sweet. And, you know, that's the first thing that's ever been up on that wall by them. And it says going away words.
Right, so he has probably spent a lot of money renting that wall for like the last few months now.
Yep.
And, you know, Pacey says...
Yeah, and she hasn't used it.
Yeah. Pacey says Joey's right. Leaving would be him giving up on her, and he's not ready to.
Okay, but when is she going to not give up on him?
I know.
Okay, the thing is, I don't understand that part either because Pacey has not given up on her.
Mm-hmm.
She gave up on him. She
Yeah.
broke up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I just don't like the writing on this. Like, it's so wrong. It's so wrong because it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
He did not give up on her. He didn't do the breaking up. She did.
Yeah.
And so that's what's irritating to me is he never once gave up on her.
Yeah. Maybe it's like if he leaves, then she'll be out of sight, out of mind. So his feelings would probably fade away by the time he came back. I mean, that's how they see it that way.
I just don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, then Pacey tells Joey that he had a lot of time to think. So now it's her time to think about what she wants.
Well, yeah, because he's like, you'll have like 3 more months to think.
Yeah. And then Mitch
Well,
and
because
Gil's.
she said that she needed her space. And he's like, okay, only have 3 more months of that.
Mm-hmm. And then Mitch and Gail's wedding happens. They exchange vows and everything. They make it official. Then Pacey ends up being there, so he sees Joey walk down the aisle with Dawson. They see him. Joey looks heartbroken.
And Dawson's happy.
Yeah, that Pacey sees them. Yeah.
Dumbo's happy.
Mm-hmm.
So when Dawson and Joey are dancing,
Mm-hmm.
Dawson said, at least I think this is when they were dancing. I'm not sure. But at some point, Dawson says to Joey, I used to look into your eyes and know what you were thinking. No, he didn't. He was so into his own self, he was never able to know what she was thinking. Because if that was the case, she would have known that Joey likes Pacey. He would have known that Joey liked him in season 1. Like, he's an idiot. If he was able to look in her eyes and know what she was thinking.
I think he meant when they were a couple.
No, he never saw, no. When were they ever that solid that he just knew what she was thinking? All they ever did was fight.
I think at the very, very beginning of the show.
No, they were so at odds at the beginning because she gave up Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just, right from the start, they were just kind of like sabotaged. And I'm okay with it. But I just didn't really agree with that. Maybe when they were kids, because ever since they've been on screen, I have not seen that he can read her like that because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't know if it was maybe when they were kids, but not any time they've been on screen.
Right. Yeah, so Grams is still driving, trying to find the bus, and they finally do at a rest stop.
It's been all night and they're still trying to figure, they're still in Ohio?
Well, it was still daytime, but a lot hours later, yeah. And then when they finally get to the rest stop, Jen, runs out and she's looking for him everywhere, and she even almost tries to go into the men's restroom until I'm guessing the football coach stopped her.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out he was right behind her, standing like near a
tree.
Yeah, porch deck.
It was funny though, because Henry's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And then she's all, Henry,
Mm-hmm.
Parker.
Yeah.
And so then she sees him and runs over to him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so embarrassing for him. I just felt so bad for Henry.
Yeah, because she blurted out that she's more of a virgin than he could ever be.
And then he's like,
yeah.
He goes, thanks a lot.
Yeah, being with somebody that he loves.
And then she said, what do you care? He's a guy. And he cares what the other guys think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, Jen?
At least until they kiss and everybody cheers. But it was sweet. Also embarrassing, yeah. It was sweet.
You like the grand gesture.
Yeah. Especially after Graham's story.
Well, I wonder if they did Jen having the grand gesture, because like that's all Henry ever did was all these big grand gestures.
Yes, those full circle.
That most high schoolers would not do.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Jen is now being the one that's doing the big grand gesture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wondered if that's why they did it.
Yeah.
Like, not just because of Graham's story, but just because this is how it all started.
Mm-hmm.
And she even says it. She was like, 9 months ago, this is why I keep saying that they've been together or they've known each other for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she says, 9 months ago, you bought a ticket or whatever to kiss me, and but like, and this is, it's like, yeah, that's how it all started, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, you were mean to him then,
Yep.
and she's still somewhat mean. I don't know. I just wish Jen would know what she wants.
Yeah.
Like, I like her. I just don't like some of her actions.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is so wishy-washy, especially when it comes to Henry.
Yeah. And then same thing with Joey, because after the wedding, she walks up to Pacey and says she can't give him a reason to stay because she has so much to work through first.
Ooh, but work through what?
Her feelings, I guess. So she's made her choice, and Pacey
Yeah,
says,
well, because she goes, how about how I feel about you and how I feel about Dawson, and then he puts his hands on her shoulder and says, "Well, you made your choice."
mm-hmm.
And it's like,
And then he said that he, wishes that she made it months ago to save time, energy, and heartache.
yeah. So when she walks away, and then it's just Pacey and Dawson says to Pacey, "Why are you here?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Dawson, this is why I wish somebody would punch you in the face.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm here for your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was sweet that Pacey showed up to the wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he only went because of Joey, but
Mm-hmm.
but he still did go. I thought that was nice. And of course, Dawson just being Dawson. But then Pacey says, well, you won.
Mm-hmm.
She chose you.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? It's like, yeah, like, I'm leaving, and this is like, that's it. And then it really gets to Dawson that it's like, she's not choosing me.
Mm-hmm.
She's choosing to be, like, for the obligation.
Yeah.
And it's like, finally, he's starting to get a brain.
Yeah.
Which one on The Wizard of Oz was getting a brain?
The scarecrow.
Yeah, well, Dawson's the scarecrow. He's finally getting a brain.
Mm-hmm. And then yeah, Jen says bye to Henry. He gets on the bus and leaves. And that's when Jen says it's Jack's turn to go see Ethan in Boston, and then they're off again. They could have never made these 2 trips in one day in real life. But, yeah.
One night we're going to go to all these different places.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not in the next town.
Yeah.
I will say for us to go to Ohio, we could make it.
Right, but not Boston.
But they're in...
And back.
Yeah, but what state are they in?
Yeah, well, they're close. Basically, it's like flip-flop. They're closer to Boston than Ohio. So really, they just went like in a big circle. If anything, they should have made it the other way around, probably.
Went
I don't
to,
know.
what, Boston first?
Yeah, maybe that would have been faster. But either way, I think Dawson kind of started realizing about how Joey felt when they were dancing too, because she's talking about how they can, do this and this during the summer, but she doesn't sound like she's excited for it. And
Did you see the look on her face?
yeah, exactly. She was getting choked up as she was dancing with him.
No, she was so, like, sad.
Yeah.
And she was dancing with him.
Yeah, and Dawson was finally seeing that she was upset about Pacey and him leaving and everything.
Well, yeah, he's finally realizing that this isn't where she wants to be. She wants to be with Pacey.
Yeah.
And that she did only stay because of the obligation.
Yeah.
And she's not asking him to stay because she doesn't want to hurt Dawson.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if he's going that far, but...
Right.
But the reason why he's not the chosen one is because she didn't truly choose Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
She was only basically forced by Dawson to.
Yeah.
But what drives me nuts, though, about Joey is she really never thinks of herself.
Right.
When it came to Paris, it was, what does Dawson want? What's Dawson thinking?
Yeah.
And here it is again. She wants to be with Pacey, but, well, it's going to hurt Dawson. Who the heck cares if it's going to hurt Dawson?
She does.
I know, but why is it all about Dawson? How about how's it going to affect you? How's it going to affect Pacey?
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 other people in this, not just Dawson. Like, why is it always about Dawson?
It's just she's just used to playing herself second or even last, so she can't help it at this point.
I don't like it. Plus, they haven't really been friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then in season 2, they weren't really friends because they were together and then broken up and then awkward. And so they really haven't been friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get this whole best friend thing because they haven't been that since the pilot.
Well, yeah, they've been there for each other on and off.
Eh, you're pushing it.
They had their moments.
When?
When Dawson was giving up on film and Joey helped him remember his love of music before he had a thing for film, and him just being there for her with well, he was there for her
This
with
is
when it
fun.
came to her. I'm trying to think of like this season, but I'm going back towards season 2. With her dad and everything, like he did the right thing when it came to her dad, but yeah, it was just very, very lightly sprinkled throughout the show.
Who's been there for her more?
Well, the season, definitely Pacey. But yeah,
Can we cut to Dawson and Joey?
at the pier.
Uh-huh. So when they're on the pier, I thought it was like on the dock, but
Oh, I don't know the difference. I just say both, really.
it's on the dock because it's still at his parents. I thought, but anyway, um, so they're standing there and he tells her to go,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, no, like I can't do that. And Cynthia, do you remember when you gave me such a hard time because I called it out? I called Dawson for what he was in season 1. In the
When?
finale, I said he was selfish, and you said no, he wasn't. And here it is. Dawson calls himself out. He says that when he told her not to go to Paris, that he was being selfish. He
Mm-hmm.
says it.
Yeah.
I was like, ding, ding, ding. I knew it. I
Mm-hmm.
called him selfish, but here he is. He's saying it himself, so I don't feel so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't anyway, but just the fact that he's actually owning up to it, like, I don't, it's good that he's finally saying it. But there, he says it himself that he's being selfish, or that he
Mm-hmm.
was selfish for telling her to stay and choose him instead of going. And he said, Pacey's your new Paris this year. Like, you need to go this time.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, no matter what I say,
They're just words.
yeah, he's like, you need to go and
Mm-hmm.
you need to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, finally, Dawson's letting her go.
Yeah.
But I have like the flip side of, is he really letting her go? Because he still can be a drama queen.
Yeah, I think he was just using the time that he had it in him to say these things.
Because Dawson, a lot of the times, likes to say one thing but mean a different thing. Just like when he said, oh, it's only about our friendship, but then the next episode it's not, it's about the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's so wishy-washy that I feel like because he's saying, oh, I'm letting you go be with Pacey.
Mm-hmm.
But what's he trying to say? That it's going to be okay that him and Joey are still going to be best friends? Because remember, he said, if you pick Pacey, we're done. Like, our friendship's over. You can't get this back. So is he erasing what he said? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think he's saying when he says go? Like, does he mean we're going to be okay when you come back? Like, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think he just wanted to tell her while he had the guts to say it, and he doesn't really know what things are going to be like because it's 3 months, so they'll be gone for a
Yeah,
while.
but
So,
she's worried about their friendship.
mm-hmm.
That's why she's staying.
Yeah,
So, him saying go,
mm-hmm.
that's my thing is, if that's what she's worried about, it's not going to help anything by saying go. Because you're not saying it's going to be okay.
Right.
All you're saying is go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay.
Maybe I guess they're only letting time see what will happen. Because 3 months is a long time, so Dawson finally understands how Joey feels and what she wants. Maybe he'll be able to understand to use this time to come back and actually want to be friends with her.
Do you think he's going to be a better person in 3 months?
I don't know, maybe a
Like,
little bit, but I don't think it'll be a big difference.
okay. About this scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's become a meme.
Yeah, and I thought it lasted longer than that with how big the meme blew up. Like, it seemed like he cried a lot longer than that and not just that quick screenshot and then he,
Okay, here's the thing though,
fades out.
is when he starts crying.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, part of me is like, I want to feel sorry for him,
Mhm.
but then he just starts crying, and then I just laugh, so I can't.
Right, yeah,
Like
it's just his
once
face.
I start laughing when he's crying, I just can't because of his face, and I'm like, you
Mhm.
lost me. I
Yeah.
was starting to have some sympathy for you, Dawson,
Mhm.
and then you just cry, and I
Yeah.
can't. Then I'm over it. Then I just bust out laughing.
Yeah.
Did you start laughing? I mean, I know you know it's
No.
a meme, but you didn't laugh.
No, I just couldn't take him seriously, so I didn't feel bad
See,
for him.
that's what makes me laugh. Like
Mhm.
it's not serious anymore. It was a so serious moment until then.
Mhm. Yeah, because this screenshot and the meme was the only thing I knew about this show for the longest time until you showed me the pilot episode the previous year. So, like, I didn't even know the character. I don't know the scene. I didn't know anything. I just knew that face.
That face,
Mhm.
that crying face.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. And then when
I mean, he did
Joey's
a good job. He made himself a meme.
mhm. And then when Joey's
I
running
mean,
off,
I'm sure 23 years ago he didn't know that.
right? Because memes weren't really a thing back then, definitely, and the internet for that matter to
I
spread it
was
around
I
like
was just
that.
gonna say the internet was not a thing.
I mean, it was just not social media was a thing.
Yeah.
That was still not a thing yet. Like, if anything, like it could have been like passed around by email at the most, or group chats or group boardrooms, whatever they're
Yeah,
called.
but they didn't really have video, really. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like someone could have maybe figured out how to. If it was on DVD back then, maybe they could have got it from there. But
Yeah, but I feel like that'd be the only way.
hmm and then as Joey's running off, Jen sees her take off, and then sees Dawson collapse on the pier like that. That was
And then he
also.
collapses
I mean, like he just dropped.
because he's crying.
hmm And then Jack gets home, and he's upset about Ethan, and then his dad's there and wants to know what's
Well,
wrong.
I think we skipped the Ethan part. When he
Oh,
goes,
whoops, we did.
yeah, we skipped that part because I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, he came home already?
Yeah, so yeah, Ethan gets to Boston.
What? You mean Jack
I
gets.
mean, yeah, Jack gets to Boston.
Okay. When Jack kisses Ethan,
Mhm.
did you know who the guy was that was sitting there?
I figured it out, yeah.
I was like, ooh.
And like Ethan was trying to like talk to Jack, but Jack kept going on and
Like
on,
stop,
so
stop,
yeah.
stop.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But
And then it was just funny because I'm his boyfriend,
yeah.
but I'm just like, oh, Jack. Now,
Yeah.
why would they think that this grand gesture would happen twice and it would
Yeah.
be good?
I know,
Like
yeah.
at one point, it's not going to work out.
Mhm.
Now, are you happy that it didn't work out for Jack, but it worked out for Henry and Jen?
Well, I mean, I would have rathered it be good for both of them, but
I know, but if you had it, it doesn't happen like that. So
mhm.
if it had to be one of them, which one would you prefer the happiness happen for?
I don't know, 'cause like I feel like Jack wasn't sure of his feelings, but he knew he still liked
I
Ethan, like
know,
he wasn't leading him on.
but you have to think about the other person. And Ethan just not. I don't like him.
Right, yeah.
And he's always was
He was
kind
kind of
of
Jen.
yeah, and he was always kind of like leading him on and then
Mhm.
pushing him away and blah blah
Mhm.
blah.
So the flip-flop of Jen and Henry, yeah.
Yeah, but Jen came to her senses,
Mhm.
and they've had sweet moments, Jen
Mhm.
and Henry. So that's why I wanted them to have the happy ending.
Okay, yeah.
And I was okay if Jack didn't, just because I didn't like it. I didn't like Ethan.
Mhm.
So I was like, actually, get rid of him.
Mhm.
That was kind of in my head.
Yeah, and then it's only been like what, a day since he left
Yeah.
Cape Side, and now he's already back with his ex Brad.
Mhm.
So that was really fast too.
Yeah.
So it just shows that he didn't really have feelings for Jack because he wouldn't have been able just to go back like that quick.
Right. He was probably just using him.
Mhm.
Um. So now we can talk about when Jack goes home.
Yeah.
Who's home?
His dad.
Isn't it?
The first time in a while.
Well, and I feel like, like the first season that they were on, which was season 2,
Mhm.
we didn't really see Mr. McPhee. like
Right.
home with the kids. Now he's been home a few different times with them, or at least with Jack. We haven't really seen him with Andie,
Right.
but we've seen him now with Jack.
Yeah.
And Jack was getting all emotional and stuff, and he was saying that like, oh, you didn't want a gay son. And he was like, and Mr. McPhee said he's glad he has a gay son. And I was like, huh? When did Mr. McPhee really truly change? I mean, I know that last episode they were trying to bond, but I was like, dang.
Right.
He just, all of a sudden, he just loves Jack. Because Jack's like, what do you care? Because when Mr. McPhee's like, well, what happened? And I'm like, it is true. Like, what do you care?
Right.
Like, you don't care what goes on with Jack. But I thought it was a sweet moment between him and his dad. Because what happened?
Well, Jack starts crying and his dad's holding him in his arms.
See, he needed his dad.
And then where was Andie at this point? I wonder.
I don't know. What was up with her storyline?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Did she really even have a storyline?
Well, she was at the end, but she was there with Jack for Dawson. So she was there for Dawson, but not her own brother.
Right.
So I'm guessing the writers just wanted Jack and his dad to make up, to patch things up, and so Jack could have at least one person, like, kind of come back and stick by him now in his life.
Well, I think they were maybe trying to wrap up the whole Mr. McPhee being a bad dad.
Yeah, that too.
Where it's like, we've seen him be a good dad to Andie, taking her treatment and stuff.
Yeah.
And then now we're seeing him come around with Jack. Like, it's a full circle finally.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dawson gets home, and Andie, Jack, and Jenna are in his room because they don't want him to be alone. And then Jen's like, this isn't Wizard of Oz, and because it's
yes, it is, because he's finally getting a brain.
Yeah. And Andie says that pain makes us real, but we can't do it alone. And Dawson asks what they did today, so they catch him up on their road trips, trips for the day. They've probably had to be more than 24 hours for it to actually fit into one day. Yeah,
with some sleeping, though, in between.
Oh.
Sometimes for a break and to sleep.
Yeah. And then that scene ends with a close-up of Dawson's aunt's painting of a young Joey and Dawson. So kind of like...
Still almost, showing us Dawson and Joey.
Maybe that could be a hint, like maybe they will come back and be friends again later on. That's why I took it.
Oh, okay. So then we go to the end of the episode, which is Joey runs to the dock to see Pacey, and Pacey, he was like headed out there, but he was way up at the dock house or whatever. But anyway, it was adorable, and she tells him that she thinks she's in love with them, and he's like, do you think or do you know? She says, I know. And then of course she says that she wants to go with him, and he said, are you crazy? And he said, well, what about Bess and the B&B? And she said, okay, this is what got me when she said that she needs him
more than they need
more than they need her. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what got me. I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
because we've seen it in season 3 that Pacey has been there for her. She said, remember with the school mural, she said that he's like the only one that's there for her or whatever. And so it's like, and he's pushed her, and it's just like, yes, the one person that she needs is Pacey. And I love it.
Yeah, she's finally realizing it. I thought it was funny after they get on.
Yeah, so after they kiss. And, okay, so here's the thing. When she starts to get on the boat, and then he says,
you have to ask permission.
It goes back to when he showed her his boat, and she was getting on the ladder, and he said, what are you doing? And then she did the whole permission granted thing.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
You don't remember that? Yes, it's a hint back to when she first saw the boat
Okay.
to now her actually
Mm-hmm.
going with him.
Yeah.
And so I love that they're going to be gone for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was funny when she says, I'm just worried about change of clothes. And
Right.
he said, oh, it'll be okay. Well, it'll be a few days or a few days after that.
Yeah, when they,
Stop.
yeah.
I was like, a few days after that? What?
But I'm just surprised she took off like that without telling Bess, like literally not telling anyone or packing anything. She just left.
Cynthia, it was like the next day. She wasn't wearing the dress that she had on at the wedding.
No, I know.
She had
I'm
the
just
red
saying.
shirt, so it was the next day. So I'm sure she told Bess,
Oh,
like, hey, I'm leaving.
okay. I was just thinking.
But yes, not to bring anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're not bringing a toothbrush. You're not
Yeah.
bringing any extra clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that I don't understand why she wasn't bringing anything.
Yeah, because it's not like 3 days. It's 3 months. So.
But I'm also sure that she probably, I'm sure, told Bess
Mm-hmm.
because she had all night to tell him
Okay. I forgot
or to
about
tell
the
Bess.
next day part. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she was wearing the dress. So, I mean, I don't know, unless she went home and changed clothes and then went to go see Pacey.
Right. She had to. Yeah.
I don't know. But it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Bess isn't really there for her,
Mm-hmm.
like as a parent.
Yeah.
Joey parents herself.
Mm-hmm. And then the last shot of that scene is the back of the boat with a close up of Pacey's true love sign as the boat sails towards the sunset. I thought that was pretty.
Mm-hmm. And what does the true love mean?
Well, it started off with Pacey hoping that it still existed out there for him, and now he has that
With who?
with Joey.
I just wanted you to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Cynthia,
Yeah.
we are at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
So, I just need your thoughts. Who do you think she should be with in the end of season 3? And the second question is, should she have gone with Pacey?
Yes, Pacey, and yes.
So right now, for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
you are Team Pacey.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then your highs and lows?
For this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The low would be just the whole scene with well, I didn't like the Jack and Ethan scene at the school, but I also didn't like how Dawson was like, kind of he was realizing what Joey wanted, but then at the same time he was still kind of being, thinking about himself and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the high, of course, was the very end when Joey finally came to her senses and went to go tell Pacey how she feels.
Mm-hmm. Me, the low was just the whole storyline of Dawson and Joey.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for it because I don't care for them. And then of course for me the best okay, so I had a couple highs.
Okay.
I liked Doug interfering and pulling Joey over. That was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But of course for me the high was the ending when Joey goes and tells Pacey exactly how she feels. And then they go off into sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my high. You know what I thought was funny, which we didn't say?
What?
When Joey comes out of the store, Pacey grabs a milk and takes a drink.
Yeah.
He goes, I was thirsty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He said, I was thirsty because I was painting this. And then she looks. And I'm like, you just took the milk jug
Yeah.
and drank out of it.
Mm-hmm.
What? That's so gross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I would rate this a 9.
Same.
It had too much Dawson in it. And too much Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's your best and worst?
For the best would be Graham's, just because she, helped Jen and was still trying to help Jack, have them have no regrets. Like she didn't have any with that guy that she met that short amount of time. And then the worst, of course, was Dawson. Even though he did end up doing the right thing and telling Joey to go, he was still, throughout the episode, still making it like a big, deal and a hassle for her. So what's yours?
So yes, for me the worst is Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was still dragging her on through the mud. It was so hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I can't with that dude. And then the best was Pacey. Of course. Okay, here's the thing. He finally told her how he feels, even though I already said he didn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally was like, fine, like if you won't ask me to stay, like I'll just kind of show you in his own way, as in his wall. Because he was just trying to do everything at that point to get her to say it. Because it was like nothing was working. So, and I just love him.
Right.
So for me, he was the best because I don't know, a lot of people were driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's my best and worst. So now that it's the finale of season 3, what would you rate all of season 3?
How are we doing that? Same thing from 1 to 10?
Hmm?
The rating 1 to 10?
Mm-hmm. Why, you giving it a 1?
No. I'm just wondering what I said for season 2. Because a lot more happened in this episode, but it's still a lot of back and forth about the same things.
But it's the whole season this time.
Yeah. But I'd probably say, I guess, 7.5.
All of season 3, because it was better than season 2. I mean, I don't know what I rated season 2, but I'm just going to give season 3 an 8. I think overall it actually was good.
Mm-hmm.
Some episodes are still dragging.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what was your best episode of season, or your favorite episode of season 3?
Probably after all the bumps in the road with everything, I'd probably say it was all the way toward the end of this season with episode 19, Stolen Kisses, when they were at Dawson's aunt's house. That's when Joey and Pacey both started realizing that they had feelings for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And what's yours?
Mine was the weekend in the country. It's still one of my favorite episodes. It's the one where Joey starts the B&B.
Oh, okay.
And Pacey's the maintenance guy, and they tell their story. And this is where we find out that Pacey loves her because Grams talks about, when you can just sit there by the fire watching them sleep. And I'm like, then they show Pacey doing that.
Yeah.
So I loved that one. For me, I mean, yes, I would say my second favorite would be Stolen Kisses.
Mm-hmm.
But the weekend in the country was fun.
Yeah.
Just to see everyone playing along.
Yeah,
was
together.
Fun. Yeah. I like when they all work together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a good one because when the cast is all together, makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when Bodhi came back too.
Yeah. See, where is he? Now he's gone again.
Yeah.
All right. What is the next episode? I know it's season 4.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We will be going to season 4, which is titled Coming Home. And yep, that'll be starting it in the fall of 2000.
All righty. All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would really appreciate it.